How significant of a move is this by the ICC, and what is being alleged?
This is very significant, Mel. It means that there's an increasing number of countries are coming out and saying they will implement these warrants. What it means is the three men who are subject to these warrants, Benjamin Netanyahu, Yoav Gallant, his former defence minister, and Mohammed Deif, the Hamas commander, who is believed that he could well be dead. But it means Mr Netanyahu and Mr Gallant will have trouble travelling to many of these countries. Already now the European Union is saying that all of its countries, member countries, should implement these arrest warrants, and Canada has come out very strongly. Justin Trudeau has said Canada will stand up for international law, and it looks like other countries that are essentially saying they will execute these warrants should these men go to their countries so far include the Netherlands, Switzerland, Ireland, Italy, Spain. France and UK not so strong. They're saying they will abide by the ICC, but they're not saying that they will arrest them themselves, that necessarily. But it's a real problem for Israel.
Well, that is a long list of countries that have said that they will implement these warrants. So practically, what is the likelihood that any of these three men will be arrested and prosecuted and face court?
Difficult to be sure about that. The ICC doesn't have its own police force, so it can't actually enforce these. It relies on the member countries, the 124 member countries, including Australia as a member country, of course, a signatory, to make the arrests. So should Benjamin Netanyahu come to Australia, then the ICC would expect that the Albanese government or whoever is in charge at the time would ensure that Mr Netanyahu was arrested on Australian soil. Now, there obviously inevitably comes politics into that. I don't think that Anthony Albanese would authorise the arrest of Benjamin Netanyahu, but clearly Justin Trudeau and other leaders would.
So will this warrant have an impact, do you think, on the way that Israel is conducting this war? Will Benjamin Netanyahu face any repercussions domestically?
Well, within Israel, for example, the very influential minister Ben-Gvir, who's the Minister for National Security, his reaction to this has said, "We will now annex the West Bank," which is fascinating that what he's saying there is we will punish Palestinians, we will ensure they never get their own state, to punish the Palestinians for a decision made by the International Criminal Court. So he's saying let's push ahead with annexation. He's supported in that by Bezalel Smotrich, the Minister for Finance, last week, who said let's just go and take the entire West Bank, which is contrary to all international law and the views of countries like Australia and America. So it looks like the reaction, the angry reaction in Israel could well be let's ensure there will never be a Palestinian state.
What about the reaction from some of Israel's allies, such as the United States? What's that reaction been like, and is it surprising? It's
not surprising. The United States is very much locked into this war. The pictures we're seeing now of the absolute devastation. Gaza has essentially been destroyed. It's no longer functioning. It can't function now with its 2.2 million people. The bombs that have done that destruction are American, primarily American bombs. And so if the Americans supported the ICC in arrest warrants, then people could logically say, well, why issue arrest warrants for the Israeli leadership when it's the American leadership who've supplied the bombs? The Americans, obviously, as Israel's strongest supporter, will defend Israel. They're not a party to the ICC, so they are saying that this is completely unfair and unwarranted. And Israel, of course, insists that what it's done in Gaza has been to try to ensure that Hamas can never again commit the sort of atrocities they did on October 7, that Hamas did.
And finally, John, what are the latest estimates of the death toll in Gaza?
Officially, the death toll from the Ministry of Health there, which is obviously controlled by Hamas, is about 43,000. An interesting article in the Lancet Medical magazine in July, 3 contributors, including a member of the editorial board of the Israel Journal of Health Policy Research, saying that in any war, it's not just the direct people killed, the 43,000 by bombs, etc., but when you look at people who might be caught under rubble and people who died because they couldn't get medical care, couldn't get cancer treatment, these three writers said in The Lancet it's not implausible to estimate that up to 186,000 or even more deaths could be attributable to the current conflict in Gaza.